There is a very widespread idea today when people talk about artificial intelligence, an idea I hear repeated often by some academics, and it is this one. Generative artificial intelligence models understand nothing. They are not intelligent. They have no knowledge. They do not form any judgment. They produce only a dangerous illusion of knowledge. Well, the point is that it rests on a mistaken assumption, a very human assumption, though, that knowledge is real only if it can be expressed as explicit rules, in clear causal links, in theories formulated in words. But let's pause for a moment. Let's ask whether this is really how all human knowledge works. Let's take a simple example. Walking. Well, none of us truly knows how to explain in terms of explicit rules how we walk. We cannot fully describe how the body maintains balance, how it corrects errors in real time, how it anticipates the next step. And yet we walk every day. Or take tennis. An expert tennis player does not apply a list of rules when returning a serve at 200 kilometers per hour. There is no time. There's a kind of knowledge that acts before and without the explicit theoretical rules. Well, yet no one would say that this is not knowledge. So the question becomes inevitable. Why do we accept that the human beings there exists knowledge that is not theorizable, not explicable, not inspectable, and deny this possibility to an artificial cognitive system? In large language models, knowledge is not written like a manual. It is not organized as a set of rules. It is not stored in sentences of the form if A then B, or A causes B then causes C. It's not. It is distributed. It is mathematical. It is geometric. Transformer models take language, which is already the historical repository of human experience, and transform it into vectors in a multi-dimensional space. What does it mean? Well, it means that every word, every concept, every relation of meaning is encoded as a position, a direction, and a distance relative to others in this multi-dimensional space. Now, in that space, it is not only words that live. Analogies live there, inferences, implicit logical structures, the deep regularities of our way of thinking. In a sense, the transformer performs a gigantic reverse engineering of human language. By analyzing billions of texts, it reconstructs the conceptual map of the world that human beings have sedimented into language over centuries. And since human language contains not only information, but also reasoning, intention, logical structure, human reasoning too remains in part encapsulated inside it. This knowledge is not symbolic in a classical sense. It is statistical, yes, but it is an extremely high-dimensional statistics, one that captures deep structures, not superficial frequencies. And this is why a model can perform a complex differential diagnosis, analyze a difficult philosophical text, build a coherent and non-trivial line of reasoning, not because it repeats or it memorizes previous examples, but because it operates with a real knowledge structure. Even that structure, cannot be made explicit as a list of rules. I repeat, it operates within a real knowledge structure, even if that structure cannot be made explicit as a list of rules. And here lies the real misunderstanding. Now, many people think that a system can be called intelligent only if it represents the world the way we represent it. Only if it uses explicit causes and effects. Only if it follows declared rules. But this is not a scientific definition of intelligence. It is a historical one. It's a cultural one, an anthropocentric one. Artificial intelligence does not understand the way we do, and that is true. But it does not follow that it does not understand at all. Understanding does not necessarily mean having a subjective experience of meaning. It means being able to operate correctly on structures of meaning, to generalize, to infer, to adapt to new contexts. And a large language model do this. The real problem, if anything, is not that AI lacks knowledge. It is that its knowledge is opaque to us. We cannot inspect it with the conceptual tools we are used to. But our own brain is opaque as well. We just grew up inside it, and so we take it for granted. To say that artificial intelligence possesses no form of knowledge is not epistemic caution. It is a refusal to revise what we mean by knowledge. And perhaps the issue is not whether AI knows something. Perhaps the issue is whether we are ready to accept that there can exist forms of knowing that do not speak our language. We are used to thinking that our theories about thought are thought, that our conceptual maps are knowledge, that the rules by which we describe reasoning coincide with what actually happens when we think. But a map is not the territory. The representations we have built to explain human thoughts are maps after the fact, descriptive tools, conceptual constructions that work, but are not the real substrate of knowing. The representations of knowledge is not knowledge. It is the way we later try to narrate it to ourselves. In reality, we are biological neural networks, distributed, opaque to ourselves, sub-symbolic in their deepest dynamics. And when we infer, when we reason, when we understand, we're not consciously applying explicit logical rules. Well, those come later. They serve to explain, not to function. Our theories about thought describe the outcome of the process, not the process itself. They do not describe the territory. They describe the trace the territory leaves behind. And so perhaps the discomfort we feel in front of artificial intelligence does not arise from there being too little human in these systems, but from the opposite suspicion. Well, the suspicion that at the deep functional level, we might be far more similar to those models than we are willing to admit. And not because AI has become human, but because the human has never been as symbolic, as transparent, as rational as it likes to tell itself. And perhaps artificial intelligence is not showing us what machines lack. Perhaps it's showing us what we have always misunderstood about ourselves. And that, more than a technological problem, is a philosophical mirror.